Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is morning for me. I am recording the Gravy Bones um fuck, budget deck. I am just woke up, but I wanted to get this recorded ASAP. So essentially, it's the Armory deck plus $40. So it's a $90 deck if you bought the cards all individually. But I think the armor deck's like $60 and I added 40, so it's $100 total. So, but it looks like you can get it under $100. That was my goal. Just keep it under 100, and that's what it looks like I got. The maybe board is what I took out of the armory deck. So all these were already in the armory deck, and I took out. The other one I was thinking about putting back in is back alley break line. We can pair that with all the other flip cards. By flip cards, I mean chart the high seas, Jitterbones off the top, and the Restless Bones or Salt Water Swell. So we could probably make space for that. However you want. I've just been testing this as is, and I'm so happy with the amount of action points that I can derive. If I were to make a space for it, I'd probably cut one Flying High for it, as Flying High has been hit or miss for me in the deck, but I like it. That's why it's in there. But that's up to you. That's why the maybe board is still there. So let's go through what I added, what I changed, and why I did that. So I'm gonna stick with the allies first, because that's whatchamacallit, the biggest changes. I think I took out. See, I took out one Anka or Anka, however you want to pronounce it. And I took out 3 Barnacles as they're. I don't think we needed 3 Anks, and Barnacles just. Yeah, it is a decent attack for 4, but I could just put in other stuff that attacks for better. Or just, this is 0 for 3, but you get more value if this dies Ostin. So I put in 2 Ostins, I put in a Morlefay. Morlefay is more of a me thing. You could put a 3rd Ostin in, or you put your 3rd Ankh back in. I just have a judge stamped one that I got from a friend, so that's why it's going in there. And it's also a good resource use, as without a lot of gold, I did as much gold generation as I can, but since most of it's been taken out and we don't have hook, Morlefay is a resource sink that you can do. It also pairs really well with Limpet and Cutty Shark. You could also probably cut Morlefay for your 3rd Cutty Shark, realistically. But if you get if you get all 3 of these, you got a weird board for them to take care of. You got either some Morlefay, which is going to keep making your Cutty and Limpets bigger every other turn, or they have to take your Gogan attacker or your other secondary buffer. This trio is very disgusting. I should have. There's a reason I had 2 Cutties. It was maybe I wasn't able to maintain the board well enough to keep a 3rd Cutty around. I put in Swabbies. Swabbies is just value. You get, if you have 2 blues, you play it and you swing for 7. If you get a Morlefay or a Cutty out, you start swinging for 8 off 2. A fantastic ally to put in. But yeah, that's the allies I put in. Some of the cards that took up a majority of the budget were Sea Legs, and Sunken Treasure, because these are $5 a pop. I think they're $4.92, so yeah, $4 a pop. This is some of the easier gold generation we could get, is just by blocking you get gold. Oh, I guess some other allies I skipped over. Scoop is just also just, if you're like, hey, I don't really need that many allies in my grave, I can turn them into gold. Or if your opponent is somehow playing yellows, child, you can just turn them in extra gold. Some of the base attacks that I put in are Restless Bones Blue and the Jitterbones. It's just more ways to get our allies in the grave, since we don't have a lot more Discord outlets. Made it all 3 chart the high seas, which I believe they're a few dollars a pop as well. Yeah, $2 exactly almost. We get to keep the Call by the Grave in the deck, because that's the one of. I added our 3rd Avast Yi. Took out Loot the Holds, or not Loot the Holds. Loot the Arsenal, because not everybody will have an arsenal, but everybody has a hand. Took out the Fiddler's Green, the Battle Battalion Bouquet, because I'm trying to go for more aggressive style, where we have the Gogan off Swift Water Sloops, Saltwater Swells and Jittery Bones. We get that go again action. How the deck normally plays is honestly you're going to have 1 to 2 go again attacks in hand if you're lucky. Getting an ally out. If it's a slow matchup, you can get 1 ally out at a time. If it's more an aggressive matchup, you're going to wait for your allies. Don't just play 1 at a time because they're just going to clear the board as an aggro deck. What you're looking for is to get some sort of time snap potion, tip the barkeep out where you can get your additional action points because we want 3. The goal is to get 3 allies out in a turn. So like your main 3, like my combo, what I like to do, I go Morlefay, Limpet into Cuddy because it allows for a nice buff action onto the Limpet. You can pay 2 resource. Basically, you pay a blue to get out less than you play with a blue. You can make Limpet attack for 4, and then from then on out, it'll just keep getting bigger and bigger until they take care of it. Any additional allies you put out as well, you can start swinging as well. Another good one, is Limpet Cuddy into Swabby. If you can manage the resources, because then you can go another blue would get you to swing for 9 on the turn. So yeah, you're looking to get 3 out. So that way, if it's an aggro deck, they can't clear all your allies and still strip your hand, so you can have some more shenanigans to do. Obviously, Rigor Mortis is a good one to come out, and Sawbones as well. Sawbones works really well into aggressive decks, especially if they want to try and hit it down with like daggers or like Assassin's Daggers or Ninja's Daggers. They're very good at just disrupting that. I had a Sawbones out for 3 turns where someone just tried to dagger it down because they had to block with their hand. They're like, ah. And I had a Cuddy Shark out still. Cuddy Shark, let me say this. I was on Cuddy Shark on release. I knew Cuddy Shark was going to be good. It's just Tipples were just way better. Cuddy Shark is a good resource management when you have a lot of blues off your Saltwater Swells. As it's a 2-cost attack, which you're like, why does it... Second, buddy. Yeah, you would think, oh, 2 resource attack. That's a weird thing to say as a resource sink, but you'd have a bunch of blue sometimes, and there's not a lot of things you can do with your resources because your allies are so cheaply costed outside of Swabby. 2 1s, but sometimes with you don't have any gold, you don't have anything to do with your resources. So I like Swabby. I've been on it. This deck took a lot of inspiration from what's his name. 1 second, I have it in my notes here. Where's he at? Fino's list. I took inspiration from that and some additional budget decks I looked at. Some more people had different colored sloops. I was mid about it. You could maybe put in a blue sloop if you felt like it. Sloop is a little bit harder to get go again without gold, so you might have to get finicky with it. You're gonna have to find some shenanigans, either with Chart the High Seas or a Saltwater to get your go again offhand if you don't have an ally with go again attack with. So you pitch a blue to limp it. No, because that'd still be 2 floating here. You'd only get 1. So you need like a Cuddy Shark out to sink the resource, play it, use its ability, swing with. Then you can pitch your second blue into Saltwater. But it's very good if you can get Swiftwater Sloop to have go again. Let's see what else I have here on my notes. I do have to put a little stipulation. By no means I think this deck will win any RTNs, so Road to Nationals or Pro Quests. I think this is a very good viable option for an upgrade on the Armory deck if you're short on a couple of doubloons. You still want to make your gravy deck a little bit better. In the sideboard, I just added some magic resistance or wizard sideboard essentially. That's what Ankh is for. Maybe in Kasai as well if she's somehow drawing a second card. I think Ankh is very much a sideboard ally. It is nice on 1 attack 5. and it's a decent way to get your allies into your grave as well. And we got some more defensive options here with Fate Foreseen and Blood of the Water. Blood of the Water is just one of those sack outlets on defense where you can't really defend with your allies, but you can turn them into some extra defense. And Fate Foreseen over Sink Blow, as our hands are always going to be garbage, at least we can fix what's on the top of the deck for stuff like Saltwater Swell or Restless Bones if we have them in our hand already. Chart the High Seas. One tip I do recommend is hold off on your compass. If you have cards like Chart the High Seas, Saltwater Swell, and Portside Exchange, use your compass after these cards. It makes a huge difference, trust me. Like, the cards don't change when you look at this, but you know you're going to get the card no matter what off this. There's no point in encompassing when you're going to see the card after you play chart. Your chart's going to tell you what that top card was. Whereas at least afterwards, you can know after chart, okay, what is up there now? That was my biggest mistake in just playing Gravy Bones in general, is I was using compass too soon. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be drawing that card. I already was going to know what it is. So save your compass for after effects. So like if you don't have a Saltwater Swell or Chart the High Seas, and you have a Restless Bones in hand, you're like, I really need to know what the top card is, see if it's worth popping off the top, attempt to get the go again, then use your compass, because there's no other option there. You should get these time snap potions. If you can take an off turn to do so, do it. I've reluctantly just been pitching them, and I should just take an off turn to get it, because action points are huge in this deck now that gold and tipples are gone. We don't have as much gold to sink in to draw more cards. To find more action points. So we're going to need those time action to get 2-3 attacks. Like if you pair a time snap potion with a rum, you can go 3-4 wide off just allies. You can go swing with Limpet, it has Gogan, so you still have your 2 action points off this, and then you go in Putty Shark, that's 1 action point left, and then you pop a rum before you swing Swabby. You swing Swabby, and then you can swing Rigor Mortis. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4 wide off a rum and a potion. Even with a rum, you could still go, you go Limpet, rum here, swing there. You could still go 3 wide off allies, which is huge. Because you can't double rum. And if you pair that with a Vast Yi, so you go ally, break the chain, a Vast Yi, then you rum here. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, just combine your go agains. Try and pair off well. Yes, most people are going to kill off your allies as soon as they can, but this is a good starting base of how to learn the deck. If I were to invest my money anywhere else, I would just get Hook or Chums, because like depends on where you want, but Hook is just so good. Just be able to block one with it, obviously keep it around, but giving yourself more gold is just the biggest thing about the deck. Some people will say Chum is a very good purchase. Yeah, Chum is a good purchase, but to make the deck just function better as is, Chum is not a necessity, it's just a very good include. The new spoiler card, not spoiler card, a new ally as well, if it's relatively cheap on release, which I highly doubt it because it's a very much needed ally for the deck. It prevents on-hit triggers, so like Mask of Momentum, Prism Angels, Snatch, stuff like that. This prevents it from happening. I don't think it's going to be very cheap at all. It's probably, there's no TCG pre-sale price yet, but this is going to be a big addition to the deck in general. So, but I would go Hook, as yes, this is an okay arm piece in the Armory deck, but it's nowhere near as getting extra gold or making someone block to ensure that you don't get that gold. And then yeah, your sideboard is more of a personal preference. I just know that there's enough Rune Blades and Wizards in my area, is that I would want to have some sort of defensive option against them. And I have some higher level Guardians. So if you have a more aggro based, you could go with Calming Breeze. Just to get those 1 increment damage that be prevented to you, not your allies. You'd keep that in mind. So stuff like that, those are options, but link in the description for the deck list as well. This is what I paired it with, and I think it is very good Armory level deck. It is definitely a good upgrade to the base deck list. As you get a little more aggression with it and a little more stuff, you could swap out. Maybe you're like, I don't really care about aggression, then you could go with more of the tall end here, Battalion Bork instead of Saltwater Swoop. I prefer the more Gogan option than the it's a big attack. But if you're thinking, hey, I want that higher power, then you could just swap those for those. Other than that, I think the list is very well. You let me know what you think about the list. Again, this was only a $40 upgrade to the Armory deck as is, and I think it is a good $40 worth of